Hello, everyone. I hope that you guys are doing well. I am going to be touching base with the Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman case again, as per someone's request. Okay, so I'm just going to go back in and most likely get rid of the old one because the old one may have been a little harder to understand. But I'm going to upload this one so you guys, have it for future reference or any need be. Okay, so I'm going to dive in and see what new information I can gather and, any external factors that I may not have picked up in the first case. I will pretty much foreshadow in this one. Okay. See, now I know I don't necessarily need to go over or at least give you a synopsis of the details of the case, but I know Nicole Brown, she was a Taurus, and Ron Goldman and O.J. Simpson are Cancers, okay? The spirits give me the idea of insurance, and I'm also getting the word attorney. So there's a situation going on with, I also get child support and things of that nature in regards to a attorney, okay? So that could be O.J. Simpson's attorney that he may have shared with Nicole Brown Simpson. If that's not the case, I mean, typically if you're dealing with child support or, payouts in terms of child support, then, he would have had to attend court, she as well, and that could have been a really conflicting manner in terms of the outcome of their divorce proceedings or the outcome of them just divorcing, period, or separation, anything of that kind, okay? But if that's not only the case, there is an attorney, or there was an attorney involved in the case. So if it's not only child support related, then it's related. I also get the idea of housing insurance as well. It's related to housing insurance. It could be where OJ's, or how the ownership of the property or co-ownership of the property that he was residing in with Nicole Brown, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to take my time with this. It takes time to receive information and channel it precisely, so I'm just taking my time through this, okay? So before I put down any cards or before I shuffle, I was getting child support. I was getting a situation with an attorney being involved, either that's related to divorce proceedings and child support with divorce proceedings, and then also insurance for a property, whether that's an external property or that's a property that he was residing in with Nicole Brown at the time, O.J. Simpson. Okay, there's some things that are going on there, all right? It may actually pick up some information of what may be happening now, because I believe her father, not her father, I believe Ron Goldman's father, or some of his family members, he's got some living family still around. When I said that he has some living family still around, I get this idea of an insurance policy. So those elements, I'm just going to put it out there, those elements may have an insurance policy in his name, or they have an insurance, somebody's got insurance policy either on Nicole Brown, or I get like a what do you call that, like a tie, or there's a conjunction. So right when I hit her name, something is combined there, there's a conjunction there, whatever that means. I don't know what the legal term would be for conjunction or combine in terms of some type of insurance policy that some of their families have. So it's Nicole Brown's family, and then something's going on with Nicole Brown's situation. Her family members will be intertwined with OJ's, and that would also be intertwined with Ron Goldman's or his family. There's insurance policy energy coming from his end for some reason, or OJ Simpson's end, or Nicole Brown's end. But when I hit Ron Goldman, I was getting this idea of insurance policies or an insurance policy, like singular or multiple. All right. Now, the insurance policy element is one element about it has to do with a property. I don't know. I'm getting this idea that maybe there's a situation if like Ron Goldman was like, every time I talk about him or I mention him, the spirit gives me something new about him or his involvement or why he was involved with OJ and how he was involved with her. Like, it's giving me this idea that he's got this interesting tax involvement, like with Nicole and then OJ, and then possibly even Ron Goldman's father and the attorney that was responsible for the case as well too. There was a lot of, I was thinking conspiracy. There was a lot of conspiracy surrounding the family's attorney, and there was a lot of conspiracy surrounding like Ron Goldman's family or his father, if that makes any sense. So there was a dispute there. One, I get the ownership of the property. So when I said there was a dispute, it has a lot to do with the ownership of the property, like who owned the property, like OJ owning it or like Nicole Brown's family, somebody owning it, like Goldman, the father. There was a lot of, it feels like there was an issue or there was some type of financial issue surrounding that or surrounding the ownership of the property. So somebody's deal or somebody's like rebuttal or like dispute has a lot to do with one, the insurance, and another interesting element as well, it has to do with life insurance policies that somebody took out. Like that could have been taken out on Goldman, that could have been taken out on Nicole. It just depends, but I feel like it's because of a payment or you know something. When I said payment as well, I was getting this idea of like somebody not pulling their end of the weight. So this could be a payment on the home, a payment on a property, or I don't feel anything child support related. I feel like it has something to do with insurance policies and a house and taxes, possibly for a home or somebody's taxes or a tax involvement, insurance and things of that nature. Somebody not pulling their weight on that end. So that could be the reason. That could be the reason why there was insurance policies taken out on them or just him. It just depends on what's going on, okay? But I don't want to spend too much long on that. I mean, I could do the entire reading by just picking up energy and not putting any cards down. The Princess of Wands energy is here. So the Princess of Wands could be a child. It's a fire sign. That's a female. So if it's not a kid, then it's an adult. Excuse me. If it's not a child, then it's an adult. Alright, that's involved. I also get currently. So this person may be currently involved, or this person was involved. I don't know if this energy, they could be currently involved, but they were involved at the time, if that makes any sense. I believe OJ Simpson's ex-wife is an Aries element. So she probably, I'm getting the idea that she may still, there's something that she still receives. There may be something that she still receives. It could be a payout that she receives. It could be like something may be also going on with her own attorney, or the attorney that she may have had during the time when she was married to O.J. Simpson, if that makes any sense. There's an energy of a payout that is happening there as well. So I don't know if this has something to do with the property, or this has something to do, she may have been owed money. So OJ might have owed her money. If it's child support related, he may have owed her money at the time. But I do feel like currently, I'm trying to do this in chronological order, I do feel like currently she still could be involved, and back then she was also involved. Like, she was involved in the sense where, she was his first wife. So what's going on with her financially, and then he's no longer with her. He then has child support for the other children that he still has with her. So that's why I was getting the idea of child support and needing the attorney and things of that nature. Someone was conflicting along those lines. So I don't know if she was arguing about the amount of money that she was receiving, or he was arguing about the money he was getting paid from his contract that he had as a football player, if that makes any sense, okay? But it's definitely child support related, and definitely has to do something with property taxes as well. Like property taxes that he was with her for a long time. So property taxes will be related to the house that he may have ended up living in with the new wife that she passed. So what's going on? Something about that. That's where money may be coming from, or that's where he was thinking. That was his idea, or someone else's idea, external, or an attorney's idea, that if you sell the property, you can get the child support, or you can get the refund, or you can get the money, you can get the alimony that you're supposed to receive from this divorce. So that's an attorney's, that may have been an attorney's option for Marguerite, and an attorney's option. There's a lot of legalities going on here that I'm trying to take my time and go through. Okay, there's an attorney that Marguerite had with O.J. Simpson, right? I'm just going to start from there. There's an attorney that they have that the attorney is suggesting that they sell the property that his new wife ended up living in, if that makes any sense, so that Marguerite can then get the payout that the spirit is saying she was saying that was owed to her, or that OJ owed to her. But there's an issue with the property, because the new wife that he ended up with, that he was also going through a divorce proceeding with, she also wanted money. So then he's ended up in a situation where there's two women. I get this idea of like 4 attorneys. Like, there were 4 attorneys that were involved in this case. Like 4 of them. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I could be misinterpreting that. There maybe have been, there's more than 1 or 2 attorneys involved in this case, because you got child support. You got alimony that 2 women want, is the idea that I get. There's alimony that 2 women, both of those women wanted. So what's happening is that OJ then he's like, contemplating like divorcing one, or at least are doing like a legal separation with the other woman. So it ended up being really messy. So I get the idea that the attorney's objective was to sell the home or sell the property, but the other woman is living in the home with her children, or the other woman is like in an affair with someone, and she's cohabitating in the house with her person that she's having an affair with, which would be like Ron Goldman. So the objective, I get something about the attorney's idea. The objective is coming from the attorney's idea, and the attorney's idea is for him to do something, or for him to try to get her to be on his side in terms of selling the home. She may not have wanted to sell the property, is the energy that I'm getting. I don't feel like she wanted to sell the property. the first wife had some type of interest in feeling of, I don't know if the wife, she had like some type of vendetta against the situation, or her attorney may have been ringing in her ear, or the combined attorney that she had between herself and OJ may have been ringing in both of their ears about, you need to get rid of that property, you need to do something fast. So I'm being drawn to the idea that maybe the attorney kind of took it upon themselves to do something really interesting, if that makes any sense. Okay, something that the attorney had in mind. Something that the attorney had in mind, something may have been annoying or aggravating that the attorney had to deal with, right? Because he's involved with two women, and both of these women, they have different needs, and both of these women have children, and both of the women, they want to make sure that their children are assured. And then one woman is, I also get not being given a property. One woman is not being given a property. So one house that he had may not have been going to the ex-wife, or the house that he had he was doing something with the house and he had to get rid of it, or he was turning it over, what's that terminology called? Like a repossession? If it's like, I don't know if it's like foreclosure, or like being like a home, like the bank owning the property, like something like that. He may have been trying to avoid that from happening. Like the bank taking over the property, or repossession and things of that nature with a property, or something also going on there with payouts from the property, insurance for it, not wanting to pay for it anymore. And I feel like the newer Nicole may have wanted to stay on that property, like she wanted to stay there, and that was conflicting. That conflicted with the procedure the divorce proceedings that he was trying to do with her. That conflicted with the divorce proceedings or the separation he went through with Marguerite, if that makes any sense, okay? Because it has a lot to do with insurance. And okay, I'll give you a really interesting example. So say Amy is married to Jack. I'm just creating this scenario. Say Amy is married to Jack, and then Amy wants to get a divorce from Jack. Amy wants alimony from Jack for their children, right? But Jack has a new woman that he won't, the new woman wants to do this, that, and the third. The new woman wants to buy Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Chanel, and wants to buy properties and cars and things of that nature. So that new woman takes away from what Amy and her children are going to receive or continue to receive for the rest of their lives. You see what I mean? So I feel like the first wife felt like something going on with Nicole, or Nicole's needs were in the way of her receiving her alimony. The alimony was coming out of the housing insurance, or the tax for the property, is what's happening there, okay? Somebody saw something and be in the way, and it caused problems, okay? The Seven of Cups energy is in the starting point. So Seven of Cups would be options that O.J. Simpson had, and also who else did I say was a Cancer? Goldman and Goldman's family. I think Goldman's father, I believe, is a Sag. And then this could be OJ's energy, singular, like him having options, right? He did have an attorney that was, it could have been a water sign that was an attorney, but he definitely is a Cancer. But there was an attorney that was trying to give him options, or he was thinking about all the options that the attorney was presenting to him. What are you going to do with this property? I'm getting the question of where you're going to get this money from to pay off Marguerite. There may have been a situation where Nicole may have been asking for money and payout and alimony and things of that nature. So he didn't want to there's an idea of him, he didn't want to cut into money that he was making from his business, if that makes any sense. Or like the attorney's option is, the attorney is like, sell the house or Seven of Cups. I'm going to give you A, B, C, D, E, F, G of an option that you can do if you don't sell the home. Right? So I keep getting this idea of conflicting, or it ended up being really conflicting for OJ to really take an attorney up on some type of offer. Okay? Right? There is this idea of like a plea bargain, some type of bargaining that he experienced with an attorney at one court visitation that he did experience. There was a plea bargain here, right? That actually happened beforehand as well. Like that happened before, like I was getting a divorce. That happened either before or after he got a divorce from someone. If this is like, it's Cups energy. So after he divorced Nicole, or during the time he was divorcing Nicole, the attorney was saying to him, if I get a payment, if you can get me this payment, I will let you either sell or keep the property, if that makes any sense. I'll let you keep the property. Or I don't know if that was a conversation that the attorney had with Nicole or the attorney had with Goldman, because Goldman is a whole separate entity. Who his father, whoever was involved in that case, those elements receive payouts from some type of insurance that the attorney orchestrated with the Seven of Cups energy there. So there's a lot of legalities that are happening. There's a lot of legalities here that I'm really trying to take my time through and interpret, because there's a lot of stuff that is going on there. Okay, the waiting position has the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups will be the attorney, right? This is the energy of the attorney. This could also be the energy of family money that OJ had, right? If he had family money, or if he just had money kept away, like I don't know if he had like multiple accounts, or he had somebody looking over these accounts for him, I keep being drawn to the attorney as well. Like the attorney, something that the attorney orchestrated. So either the attorney is responsible, the attorney may have had a situation set up with him where you take this money that you're going to get from this property and put it there, take it and put it in a bank in another state, take it and put it in a bank elsewhere. So I'm getting an idea so that the ex-wife doesn't have any access to it, right? The ex-wife, I don't know if that's the ex-wife meaning Marguerite or ex-wife meaning Nicole, right? What Nicole had going on, I do feel like OJ considered to be more of a top priority for him in terms of a payout and in terms of payment. So that may have been or it was the first wife. It just depends on which woman he found to be more valuable to him, if that makes any sense, right? So if he was in a situation where like the first wife could have gotten her, I don't know, she could have had her own attorney. The first wife could have gotten her own attorney involved in this situation, and she could have summoned him to court. Where's the money, where's my alimony? Seven of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. He's like, I moved my funds away from Nicole, so I moved my funds so that Nicole would not see where I moved my funds, right? And then that's his discussion with the ex-wife and the attorney. And the attorney, I get another option. The attorney is trying to give him another option in terms of how he could pay off the ex-wife, meaning Marguerite, right? Because I feel like even if he was going through the divorce proceedings with Nicole, he deemed her to be, or a need that she had to be, top priority, right? But the Spirit said mainly the property. So if he deemed Nicole's situation to be like top priority a little bit, it was mainly the property that she may have wanted, I don't think it was necessarily anything material. It could have been, or money that she may have wanted from her kids that she had with him. That could have been another situation as well, with him having multiple accounts, and it was kind of taking away or eating away at the funds that he was receiving on his own, like in his own business or as a football player, whatever he was doing. So there's an element where it may have been financially draining for him to support two women and two sets of children, and possibly I also get more than one property. There's two women, two sets of children, and then there's also more than one property. That's why the Seven of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles energy is here. There is a property that there was another property separate from the one where she was found that is I get co-owned. So there's a separate property that that not the one that she was found in, but there's a separate one. There's another one somewhere. I'm getting this idea of Reseda. That is a part of California. I don't know what's going on over there, or going towards there, or in and around Reseda. That area of California is really important. That's coming to mind. But there's another property. I don't know if that's like a commercial property or a housing property that's in and around that area or on the way to that, or Reseda in California. There's another property there, or something may have been going on with the property taxes, right? The property value drop for that as well. So the property value either drop for a property that like the news didn't necessarily zero in on, or the property value drop for the home that she was found in, if that makes any sense. And that could have been dropping, and it would have been conflicting. I keep getting the idea of alimony. It may have been a conflicting matter in terms of alimony that that his ex-wife, the first ex-wife, was asking for, because she needed it for her. I also get the idea of her sons and things of that nature. Like he needed that for his sons. So his dealing is that the attorney is like, the property value is going to drop. The property value was going to drop for this, right? Or I also get that was their plan. So their plan was for the property's value to drop, however they went about orchestrating that. But it's so that he can get a payout to give the ex-wife, or pay some type of insurance, or take care of another property elsewhere that may have been doing well. It was doing well, or it wasn't doing well. But I get the idea that there's this heavy energy of needing to get rid of one property that was being it was co-owned, or it was co-inhabited by his wife, his ex-wife, himself, and there was a need to just get rid of the property or sell it. So one way to do that would be for it to become really cheap. If that's the case, for it to either become really cheap or more expensive, it would be to bring down the property value, so that he can get some type of payout to give to the ex-wife, or get some type of alimony to give to one of them. Right? Seven of Cups with the Ten of Pentacles energy here, right? It was a messy process. It was messy. It was messy because it had a lot to do with taxes and insurance. It had a lot to do with alimony. It had a lot to do with multiple attorneys and needing to deal with the objectives that multiple attorneys were presenting to him at the time, and how to deal with the marriages, right? As I was talking about that, I do get this idea of something. It was the wrong time for him to want to get a divorce as well. It was the wrong time to try to do that. It was the wrong time. So whenever he divorced the first wife, that was the wrong time. Whenever he was trying to divorce Nicole, that was the wrong time, because it cost her her life somehow. Alright? The President has the star, sign of Aquarius. He could be embodying star energy. He could have Aquarian energy in his chart, or there was an external Aquarian energy that may have been present. That could be the energy of an attorney, a friend, co-worker, whoever the Aquarian energy is, right here in the present. Okay? He may have had options. options with his work, right? I do get the idea, when I said options with his work, I get the idea of revoking a contract. So revoking a contract can mean one of two or three different things. Revoking it can mean that he may have been, he may have started the proceedings to sign off on a contract, and then something is occurring where he then has to put a halt on it, pretty much, let it loose for a second and not pay attention to it. That's one element. Revoking a contract could also be he could have been deep in the contract for years already, if that's football, whatever kind of contract, deep in it, and then revoking it in the middle or the prime of his career, right? Revoking it in the middle or the prime of his career. So that, clearly, that happened because of, the Spirit is giving an idea of the trial. That did happen because of the trial. And somebody, someone external that may not have known what was going on with the case is saying, you're dealing with all these things. It's going to mess up your career. It's going to mess up your image. The divorce is going to mess up your image. This, that, and the third. With him being the star and the Seven of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, because he's like, if my contract is revoked, I'm going to miss out on money. Basically, I'm going to miss out on funds. So the attorney is coming in to then, I get the attorney is coming in to give him, ideas into how he can get a payout. Or I also get the idea of saving a marriage. He may have tried to save one of those marriages at one point. He tried to save it. So that could have been the old one, the first one, or that could have been the one with Nicole. He tried to save one of those marriages. Alright? He tried to save one of those marriages. But saving the marriage and saving the marriage meant that he revoke revoke one of his contracts, that he could have done. One of his contracts could have gotten revoked when he was at the prime of his career, right? Or knowledge of what Nicole was doing or the first wife was doing. Knowledge about what either one of those women were doing, or a knowledge of what an attorney was doing behind the scenes, right? It could have been knowledge of what an attorney was doing behind the scenes, or what knowledge of what one of the women were doing behind the scenes, right? There was this idea of access to funds when I said women behind the scenes. So that accessing the funds could be that Nicole may have had. I had a discussion with attorneys. So Nicole had a discussion with an attorney that she shared with OJ, or I don't know if the first wife, Marguerite, she could have had a discussion with an attorney that she shared with OJ about his funds and about alimony and getting a divorce, and am I gonna get this percentage of his pay? Right? So I feel like some part of that happened behind the scenes, right? He didn't want to deal with that anymore. I kind of get that idea that he didn't want to deal with that anymore. Ten of Pentacles with the Star, right? Because I feel like something may have been invasive that Nicole may have been doing, or Marguerite, they may have been doing with there's a conjoined attorney. So as I'm talking about them, they had the attorneys were conjoined, or at least the objectives coming from both, however many attorneys were conjoined. The funds that he had, all that was conjoined with the attorneys from two separate women. And then he's got child support situations, and then he's got insurance. He's got properties that he wants to sell so he can get the money, so that he get the money to the first woman. But then Nicole, she refused to give up the house, or she was refusing to give up the house or move, or refusing to leave. There could have been a situation here where she really wanted to stay in that area. You know what I mean? She really wanted to stay in that area or that particular house. right? And him, I feel like he could be embodying this, or this is an external attorney. He could be embodying this, or as an external Aquarian energy that's shown up there, like an attorney. That could have been his sports attorney, his manager, someone like that was giving him options into how he can, devalue a property, basically. Either like bring up the value or devalue the property. Like devalue the property. Because somebody wanted it sold. He wanted it sold. Somebody wanted him to sell it. But then somebody was refusing to give it up. So it's one of the women, or it's Nicole that was refusing to give it up. Because it has all this money attached to it. I also get repairs. There were a lot of repairs needed for the home. And him paying for those repairs meant that Marguerite would lose out on a large percentage of alimony. Or he himself will lose out on a contract for some reason. Something may have been going on with his pay and where he in the house and the quality of the house. I see what's going on here. One situation of this is, I keep getting this idea of threatening to revoke a contract and things of that nature. Somebody was threatening to revoke the contract. He had the contract running, and they're like, we're going to revoke this. So he could have been, Seven of Cups, he could have been acting erratically over the thought of losing a large percentage of money. So, like I said, the attorney's objective is sell the property or do something to devalue the property and get rid of it, or just get money for it. Get rid of it or get money for it, and needs all these repairs and things of that nature, and these repairs and needs all that done. And he's like, I'm dipping into money that's supposed to go to Marguerite or Nicole. I'm dipping into that money. I now need to pay. They want to revoke my contract for this amount of time, or they're threatening to revoke my contract for this amount of time. I'm not going to get paid. I'm not going to get, I was get a refund. He probably wasn't going to get some type of refund. Sounds like taxes. Someone could be going on there with a refund with a payment that he was looking to receive. Could be a refund from the property. I see what's going on. If it was a refund from the property that he may have been thinking he either was going to receive or not receive. Going to receive it, or I also get because someone else wanted it. So he was thinking he wasn't going to get some type of refund from the property because someone else external wanted it. Could be this element that wanted it. An attorney wanted it. Somebody else wanted it. Somebody else wanted like, I always get this idea of like a cash cow. I don't remember what that means. Like someone's going on with a cash cow. A cash cow. Whatever that means. The house was a cash cow, if that makes any sense. The house, something about the house, like the repairs, or I keep being drawn to the attorney, the repairs, and the house being a cash cow, and then something's going on with like the attorney. So something that the attorney, I get underhanded. The attorney did something really underhandedly in regards to the insurance for the home, the quality of the home, the value of the home. The attorney did something there that was strange. The attorney did something. I see what's happening here. His situation is, one element about this, it had a lot to do with his divorce, or him getting some type of like his divorce and him getting some type of payout that was really important to him at the time. Like the payout was really important from the contract, but they're telling him something's going on with the contract. Then the objective from one attorney is to sell the house that somebody then devalued, or they're trying to figure out a way to devalue. But it's like the devaluing of the home would mean that the selling price would also be lowered. And then he wouldn't get the exact payout that he was looking for, right? The attorney is really, as I'm talking, the attorney is just ringing in my ear. So I feel like that was something that the attorney set up. So I get a percentage. The attorney set up something like that so that they can receive some type of percentage. So they weren't trying they weren't really trying to, I don't think the full price or the full payment. They weren't trying to give him a full price or the full payment for the house, for the property. But they set up something so that they receive a larger percentage from the property after, nobody's going to want this house after this. And, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to want this house after this happens. Or nobody wants this house, period. Nobody wants this house, period. So somebody's discussion with his discussion with the attorney, or the attorney's discussion with someone else, is to how to make the house. I know it sounds crazy. How to make the house interesting so that people would want to buy it for a high price. That was somebody's voice. Because something was wrong with the house, and the wife Nicole wanted to stay in it, and he wanted to get rid of it. The attorney is ringing his ear, get rid of the home. The attorney is ringing his ear, get rid of the home, but she wanted to stay in it. And he's like, I'm losing contracts, and this, that, and the third is going to get revoked, and then my other wife is asking me for alimony and child support. So basically, it's like he's paying. The fear is the money lost, and the fear is coming from the fact that he's paying for a house that has no value. It has no value, not getting anything for it, for the property, basically. And then the attorney is like, there's got to be a way. There needs to be a way to do something. I know, it sounds crazy. Let me move on from that. The Queen of Swords energy is in the future. So the Queen of Swords could be an Aquarian, that's a female, Libra, Gemini, female energy that's there. And then the instincts has the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Discs could be financial balance. I mean, the financial balance pretty much goes in hand with the idea of the property and the insurance and the contract and the revoking of the contract and the alimony and the taxes for the properties and things of that nature. Right? I get this idea that he was asking himself, where am I going to get the money? How am I going to get the money? Where am I going to get the money to salvage this property? I don't have the means to salvage this property any longer. I don't have the means to do it. Right? I don't have the means to do it. Someone was slick about the attorney. Like, someone was really slick about an attorney that he had in his space. Someone was really slick about them because the house marketable. The house was marketable at one point. It was marketable, meaning that it was marketable in the sense where, I don't know if this is like before what happened with her in the home, or like marketable in terms of like, I don't know if they had any, like I was getting the idea of repairs and things of that nature that he didn't want to pay for, or he couldn't pay for any longer. But something was definitely marketable. It was marketable at one point. Or like his work may have been marketable at one point. Like his work. That could be where the revoking and things of that nature is coming from with his contract and his work. His marketable, like quality, something being of quality enough to fit the criteria to be marketable. Right? So, like, the idea, I don't know if he decided to, turn around and put money into the home. I think that was his objective at one point. But the attorney, there's an attorney that he had that was, I think the idea of twisted. So there was an attorney that he had that had a twisted, like, they twisted something here, like, they twisted something here, or they had a twisted mindset. There was an attorney that had a really twisted mindset. So I don't know if they brought some type of twisted objective to his knowledge, or that they brought it up to, like, Seven of Cups. Somebody was thinking really twisted about something, or how to do something strange. Two of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, with the Aquarian energy, star energy here. Somebody had a really interesting, like, twisted objective into how to get rid of the property, devalue the property, bring up the property, get the money from the property, get the money for the property. It was, something was marketable, like it was, you know what I mean? Something was marketable, alright? The marketable is important because the marketable aspect is important because the property, whatever it was, either his career or the property, either one of those two, they were in the one of the other was interfering with the other, if that makes any sense, or just whatever payments period, it was interfering, but it's like one of them was marketable, like, so something he was doing was marketable, like him as a football player, that was marketable, or the property was, like the house being on the market, the house, you know, not being overlooked by potential buyers and things of that nature. Like it was, the spirit keeps emphasizing that it was, meaning that, okay, the spirit emphasized that it was I had a trickster too. Somebody's a trickster here. So that's the energy of an attorney is a trickster. Or someone that was helping him sell the property or do something with the property. Somebody there was a trickster. Right? The trickster idea is coming from somebody probably telling him, you know, we can't sell this, we can't put this on the market. We can't put this place on the market. You know, we can't. So I don't know if something like Nicole did something behind the scenes with her attorney. You know what I mean? When I was talking about her, I get the word salvage. She was trying to salvage something. He was not. One of them was trying to salvage something and the other was not. And then there's a twisted attorney that is, I always get stage. There's a twisted attorney that their objective is to have something staged or do something really crazy, whatever it is. The sun is here, the sign of Leo, their success next to the Seven of Cups energy. So Seven of Cups with the sun would be that whatever options that he had, it's like this is set to the success card, you know, and he was successful doing the work that he did. Yeah, he was successful with his work, but the work was ending. There's success in the accomplishment, but the options imply that the work was ending. Like typically, like when people have options like this, it's like, you know, if you're successful with doing one thing that you do, you don't need options. You don't need to have options. This is like somebody looking for work. Seven of Cups is like having 7 options for jobs to look into, or 7 outlets of ways to get money, or taxes, or insurance, and alimony, and child support. Alimony tie into child support. You know what I mean? Finding ways to get that done. Right? 7 of Cups could also be options with the home. He may have wanted to buy a new one. Like, I get the idea that he could have been, that's why I was getting the idea of like a second property, either like a second home or some, I don't know if it's like a commercial property or something that he owns somewhere else, or another house somewhere else. It's like there's more than one house here. The house that she was found in, that house, you know, I get devalued on purpose. Like that house that she and the guy were found in, that house was devalued on purpose. It was devalued on purpose. Okay? Right? With the sun and the options, right? This could also be that there's a situation where he had savings, you know what I mean? Even if it's contract and things of that nature, that's why I was getting the accounts and putting money elsewhere. I get away from someone, like putting money either away from Nicole or away from Marguerite. Away from somebody. Putting money away from someone. And I feel like he didn't want to have to keep doing that as well. So he either could have put that money away in another account, He could have put that money away in what's another situation? He could have put that money away in another property, put it away somewhere else, left it with another attorney, left it with someone else. He didn't want somebody to have access to it, right? I feel like if she had her, Nicole, she had her own attorney, right? If she had her own attorney in terms of accessing his money, I feel like something may have been working in her favor in terms of accessing money he didn't want her to access. And he's like, his things, he's having issues in his career, and she, I feel like, I also get transferring, like I feel like she was, transferring funds. She was transferring something, or he was transferring something, or he needed to transfer, like he needed to go through a situation where he needed to transfer like contracts or funds, like he needed to transfer funds, or she did, or she was transferring funds from. This is really interesting stuff that's going on here. Okay, I feel like she has an attorney that, she had an attorney that was on her side, and the attorney, I get access to accounts. That attorney, that's why I was getting twisted. I mean, that could be a different attorney. It just depends. I feel like he had his own separate attorney from her. One element they shared one, they shared like a marriage attorney, and then there's another attorney that they have their own. Then through the split, she's got her own. Through the split, he has his own. But something's going on with him transferring his money elsewhere. But she has her own attorney or investigative person that she hired to go figure out. This could be a situation here where Nicole's attorney met with OJ's attorney or Ron's attorney. There's attorneys that are having conversations with each other, right? I was getting a manager, there's a manager involved, his sports manager, someone that is involved with the sports manager or agent, or someone was involved with Nicole or helping Nicole to information that OJ wasn't 100% giving her, especially if it has anything to do with moving money and accounts and things of that nature, like a playmate, someone that was working with him. Was given, I also get sleeping with Nicole, they were intimately involved with Nicole, a player, or someone that was someone that was, in that industry. I don't know what Ron, his occupation was. I feel like I don't know if he was involved with OJ's career like that. He could have been. Someone was definitely involved with OJ's career that she was dealing with on the side, that I have access to funds. So someone that she was dealing with on the side, separate from OJ, that had access to his funds, or they had access to funds that OJ and Nicole had combined together. Right? So it's either someone, it could be an Aquarius, whatever air sign that's there, whether they are male or female. The Queen of Swords doesn't have to be a woman. It could also be a male that's shown up feminine. They're in touch with their feminine side. They're like a co-worker, or they're a part of that industry, like the sports industry. They do some type of work along those lines. They were dealing with her intimately. I get passing around information. They were dealing with Nicole intimately, and they were also passing around information in regards to his accounts and information. I'm being drawn to the manager, his manager, his sports manager or his agent, someone that was working with him at the time like that. Someone that was working with him at the time like that was in communication with Nicole. I also get this idea of the disbursement of passwords, or giving each other passwords and things of that nature. So that could have been direct communication between Nicole and OJ Simpson's sports manager. Someone he was working with, somebody there. They were in direct communication with each other. Or OJ Simpson, I don't know if OJ Simpson, yeah, I mean, he would have been in direct communication with his own manager, but and he may not have been relaying information that Nicole was the manager, the sports manager, the sports agent was not sharing information with OJ that Nicole was relaying to him, but they were also intimately involved, or they slept together, or they have a child together, or something like that. They were dealing with each other intimately, and there's also this passing around of passwords, some type of invasiveness with passing around O.J. Simpson's passwords and at things to his account so that they can get into, so the agent can get into, so an attorney can get into. I get behind it. So when I said that, there's an attorney that was behind that. All that I just ran through just now, there was an attorney. One attorney was behind her moves. One attorney was behind her moves, and possibly another attorney may have been behind, I don't know, the agent's moves, or both of their moves. The attorney was either orchestrating that. The attorney could have been orchestrating that, right? Because it reels it back in like a fish on a hook. It reels it back in, and it leads all back to what the craziness that was going on with the property. It reels it all back into that. It reels it all back in. So there was a lot of heist-like energy that was going on externally from him. There was a lot of heist-like energy going on externally from him with his sports manager, his attorney, could have been a sports attorney, or his marriage attorney. They were all in a heist there. There was a heist involving them, all of them. And they didn't want him to sell the house. It could have been racism and, related with him having a property, or at least obtaining the funds from the property, and she didn't want him to sell it. So because she didn't want him to sell it, she still found a way to have access to his funds, and then at the same time she doesn't want to give up the house. And the house is draining him financially, and she doesn't want to get rid of it. So the attorney's objective is the attorney on his side has a really twisted objective as to how to stop that from happening. The moon energy is here, sign of Pisces, so intuition with the Two of Pentacles. He was using his intuition that he had to move money. The spirit is giving the idea of moving money, right? Moving money. He using his intuition, he had to move it. He had to figure out a way to I always do this. It's my bad. Yes, his intuition. I mean, it's perfect that it's right next to Ten of Pentacles. The moon is in the spiritual self. My bad. The moon is in the spiritual self. Intuition with his spirit. His spiritual intuition is right next to the Ten of Pentacles. Right? What to do? Where is it also? Where is the money? Where is the money? There was money that was, visibly moved. And he was this could have been a situation where he went into his account or checked an account, and he noticed, I also get something, either a deposit or a withdrawal. Either a deposit or a withdrawal in some type of account that he had. I mean, he would have separate accounts for his work. You know what I mean? He would have separate accounts for his work and things of that nature, and then one that he had for family. Whichever one of those accounts he didn't want somebody to have access to, or he didn't know who had access to them. Right? And then the guy, you know what I mean? The guy is the guy that she was dealing with. Right? I keep getting the idea of a sports manager. I don't know if the Goldman was that, or the Goldman was involved with his career in-depthly somewhere. He was definitely involved with his career. He could have been one of the people, one of the people that was on the main, what do you call those people? Not on the field necessarily, but in the, the corporate the corporate sector of of sports, or the corporate section of sports, if that makes any sense, like managers and agents and things of that nature, handling the finances of things. So if that wasn't only Goldman, it was somebody else that Nicole was dealing with intimately, that had access to his funds somehow. They had access to his funds, and he's like, where is this withdrawal coming from? Who made this withdrawal? I keep getting the sports manager when I said that. It has to do with the sports manager, or someone that the sports manager was tied to. And he's just, you know what I mean? He's just like going off. He was going off. I mean, he was going off. Yeah. All right. The mentality has the 9 of Pentacles with the 2 of Pentacles. So the 9, I get retrieving. 9 of Pentacles would be retrieving funds, or trying to figure out a way to retrieve them. But I feel like that's what the attorney was for. So the retrieving the funds, is the Spirit said that's what the attorney was for. The attorney was set out to help him retrieve the funds, right? So if you had a sports manager that was dealing with Nicole intimately, or something, and then Goldman somehow was also involved with, because you have all this air here. You have this energy is a Pisces. You have Leo here as well. You have a Queen of Swords, could also be a male or female. There's Aquarian right here. And I just feel like this is intuition. Could have been dealing with a Pisces, but this could also be intuition. It's intuition about property taxes and insurance. It's intuition about who has access. It was intuition on who has access to the money. It's intuition on who has access to the money. So then he's like, I can't give, I can't do any child support. I can't give Marguerite anything. I can't, he could have been in a situation where he wanted to totally buy a new property. He may have wanted to buy a new property somewhere else, other than where, that was. He wanted to get rid of something. And something about that was, it was combined, and it was messy, and it was like the property, the money that he was paying for the property was in the way of what his career was no longer feeding him with. The career was no longer feeding him financially, so he had to figure out a way to get rid of the property that was draining the funds that the career was no longer giving. Or the career was very limited with giving, because, his marketing and where he stood as a star. As a star player. 9 of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles. Retrieving money. Someone is the wrong way. So there was an element of retrieving funds the wrong way. Retrieving funds the wrong way. Okay? The 7 of Pentacles here is in the changing position. So the 7 of Pentacles changing would be what I just explained, where there's no, I also get residual income. He didn't have any, or he did or he did not have any residual income, or something was, his residual income was being tampered with. The residual income was being messed with by external people and payments. And paying for things on the home, or somebody like, or Nicole, or someone she was dealing with, the sports agent, the attorney, somebody had, when I hit that, they all had access to his accounts, that they had access to his funds, and somebody had access to residual income that he had. Somebody had access to that, and that's why it's in a changing position. It's changing. I mean, the 7 of Pentacles with the residual, I was getting the idea with the 9 of gain. Yes, the 2 of change is that his finances, but they were changing. That's why it says change at the bottom. They were changing at one point. And then the gain, I was getting the idea of the 9 of gain. I was getting like there was a retrieval. So with change, there also is retrieval. And then the Seven of Pentacles with the failure is that it's in a changing position, which means that the retrieval of funds or assets is then favorable. But something isn't in the right way the retrieval of the funds, I also the idea of like a low percentage of it, like he may have been able to receive a very low percentage of the funds, a very low percentage of it. There was a low percentage, and like I was saying, like an attorney took the other half. An attorney took the other half of however that retrieval took place. Of how that retrieval took place. The attorney took the other half of that percentage. The attorney took the other half of that. Nine of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Failure in the changing position. It's changing because he's still receiving funds, but there's not a lot, okay? Queen of Swords, it's not a lot there. The resolution has the Four of Completion, so the Four of Wands resonates with the Four of Wands resonates with the Princess of Wands energy underneath, and it's a 4, so it would definitely be the house environment, home environment, any place, work environment. It's the 4 of Wands, and the resolution going towards the Queen of Swords energy. So she could have been the Queen of Swords if they're an external woman. I don't know if he had like a female attorney. He could have had a female attorney, or that was it could have been a female attorney, or what do you call it? A female attorney. I don't know if the Nicole is embodying Queen of Swords energy necessarily. She could have been. Or is an external Queen of Swords? Like an external Queen of Swords is, air sign that's a female. An air sign that's a woman. Right? I keep getting the word residual. So something residual income that and now I'm getting the word devalue. So the residual income came from the devaluing of the property. I don't know if somebody made some type of money from him being like his work being devalued. His work, like somebody could have made money from slander. Somebody made money from slandering him. Someone made money from slandering him. Or there's like residual income coming. There was residual income coming from somebody has residual income because of him being slandered, if that makes any sense. Queen of Swords, so that would be like a Libra, an Aquarian, or a Gemini that's a woman. All right, we have Pisces, you have a Leo here, then there's Aquarian energy there. The Aquarian energy he could be embodying, or it's an external Aquarian energy, right? There's an Aquarian that is there, Queen of Swords. Okay, somebody is they're making money from this like some type of slanderous situation that is going on, or that could have happened to him then. Okay, that happened to him then. So like before I do an outcome on this, it definitely is a lot. It has a lot to do with what happened with them is because of an attorney's choice, right? Or someone that's connected to the Queen of Swords energy. The Queen of Swords energy, the attorney, or something that the attorney wanted as well. That's why I said there was a percentage of funds missing. So the attorney also wanted something. The attorney wanted something. I do get this interesting feeling that somebody didn't want Nicole in the picture anymore. They don't want her. All the earth sign energy, all these pentacles reside with her energy. If she was a Taurus, so someone didn't want her. I keep getting involved with a property. Someone didn't want her involved with either his career or his property, and that could have been his attorney. That was his attorney. They didn't want her involved with his funds. They didn't want her involved with the property. But they were helping him retrieve funds, but at the same time they took like a large percentage. They could have taken a large percentage for their own family. They could have taken a large percentage for their own family. That was his. Right? Somebody's like dispersing funds that were accumulated from his career, and that's the residual income, and that's the property. Somebody devalued the property intentionally so that they can get the insurance, and that's the attorney. That was the attorney's doing. The attorney did something crazy. The attorney. All right, definitely the attorney. The attorney definitely is a male element. Let me do an outcome on this as well. Okay. 2, 3, 4. All right, so you have an Aries and a Libra Empress. And then you have Ten of Wands energy here. Let me do another. Let me see what's underneath. Ten of Wands will be fire sign. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, you got another Queen of Wands. The Public Defender is Queen of Wands energy underneath. That could be now. The Ten of Swords is with the Ten of Wands energy. So the Ten of Swords, there's 2 tens there. Let me do another outcome with these. And with the Ten of Swords, hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? And there's Pisces again. There's definitely a water sign energy that's really important. And then you have Capricorn. Here's a Capricorn with the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands. Right? So I believe that the only Capricorn energy I believe is related to the Goldman. His sister was a Capricorn. Right? So that's a Capricorn, Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands. So I don't know. I feel like possibly they could have been like that energy. I mean, she's way younger than he would have been, he's way younger, but I keep getting residual. So she may receive something that is like residual income, and the Capricorn may receive some type of residual income or a percentage of it. A percentage of some type of residual income that was his. This energy may receive. The energy may receive. Or the Queen of Wands energy receives that. And I feel like they still do. Like there's this element, they still do. And then like I said, this is you have fire and air element going on here, and then you have a Capricorn, you have Leo. Queen of Swords could be a Libra, Gemini, and Aquarian. You have Aquarius here, Pisces. Right? Ten of Wands. And then you have the Queen of Wands energy underneath, which will be like an Aries, whatever fire sign element, that's a female. The ex-wife was an Aries element. That could be her shown up there. The other ex-wife. The robbery, the situation going on with the house and the woman, that definitely was. I keep getting the idea of the attorney. I feel like that was like the attorney's doing, or like I also get like hitmen and things of that nature with the attorney. That's why I said somebody had a dark, twisted objective into how he. Look, somebody had a really dark, twisted objective into how he can get funds back. Into how he can get his funds back. right? Queen of Swords, Leo. This energy is younger. I'm getting that feeling. They're much younger, and then something's going on with the Libra. That slipped out. Libra, yeah, possibly, yeah. There's air sign females there. There's Aquarian here. Could be Gemini energy. Leo, Pisces, right? Leo, Pisces. Then you have energies of attorneys here. The attorneys could be embodying these energies as well, too. The attorneys. Okay? Queen of Swords. And then you have the Queen of Swords, and you also have the Queen of Wands underneath. You have the Queen of Wands energy underneath. The wife. Him trying to get something. He was trying to get her something. Right? I keep getting that. It keeps ringing in my ear. Something was the attorney's fault. One of the attorneys. Something was their fault, or somebody did something hitman-like with the situation, so that the property could get devalued. The idea of it is so that the property can get devalued, so that their residual income. So the idea, what's going on with the property is that if it gets devalued, then there's residual income attached to the property getting devalued or valued, if that makes any sense. All right. Okay, so that was O.J. Simpson's case. If you have questions, comments, or concerns surrounding it, you know where to find me. Be well. Take care. Bye.